Yeah, today I'd like to talk about trench boxes and racking. In the trench box industry, there's two types of trench boxes that I like to classify them. One is I call a trench shield. That would be a trench box that's 16 foot or longer. And a utility box, or I call it a short wall box, that would be from, let's say, 6 foot long on up to 12 foot long or 14 foot long. I call those utility boxes. The utility boxes have their sockets the same location, front and back. So there's no front to the box or there's no back to the box. The trench shield, as I'd call it, or a production box, it usually has 3 spreaders in the front and 2 spreaders in the back up high. And then usually the production box you're always dragging through the trench. So in an application, when you're in unstable soil, that typically you can't get dug down all the way to the grade, you would lift the front of the box up previously installed, drag it ahead at a 45-degree angle, then start driving down the front of the box back into the ground as you dig inside of it. So that's where racking of a trench box becomes important. So you're able to drive one corner down, then another corner down, then dig inside a little bit, drive another corner down, drive another corner down. So actually you want a box to rack like this so you can drive it down an unstable ground. And that's the idea behind the shorter sockets, is it gives you the ability to use normal spreader pipe. So now the normal spreader pipe, you have a degree of movement, usually 5 degrees of movement, so you can drive each corner down of the box as you dig inside. And then typically, to extend a little bit further, on a trench shield, or a production box as I call it, typically as the pressure comes against the wall of the box, okay, the front is held plumb usually because you have 3 spreaders in the front, but the back you have 2 spreaders that are up higher. So as the pressure comes back against the back, it kind of pitches the back bottom together. So as you're dragging the box forward, you're always kind of unpinching the box. Versus a utility type box, where you have the spreader sockets the same location, front and back, usually those boxes are taken down the ground and taken back up horizontally. They're not typically drugged down the ditch. They're usually use a situation like that for trench lining or when you're doing spot repair. So typically when you're doing trench lining and spot repair with the racking, what you want to make sure the sidewalls of the box are always parallel. We design and build our boxes in a way that when you put your spreaders in there, the sides are always parallel to one another. So you'd want them either parallel or slightly out. So that way, when you're on unstable soil, you can drive the 4 corners down the box as you dig inside of it and get it down to grade, and then do your work and then pull the box up and move it ahead in a leapfrog manner, or you just did your work where you fixed the existing utility underground. Getting back to the production style box and dragging a box ahead, just as you have an issue, you don't want a utility box to be at a V because you can't drive box in a V in the ground. You really can't push soil back to the out and back up. So that's where you need the box to be the same distance, parallel lines, to get it drove down. The same goes for a production box or a trench shield for dragging it ahead. You got to be careful in today's environment that you don't get a longer box that would deflect in. Now if you ever get a box, the sidewalls are deflect and pull it ahead, it'll be stuck on you. So you have to make sure you get a trench box that doesn't deflect under the pressures that you're going to put under,